Alright guys, I'm gonna take apart this head quick. This is a used head I picked up. Got it from Northern Crankshafts. Those guys are pretty good there. Pretty nice guys. Very helpful. So anyway, I'm gonna take the valves out. I'm gonna put new valve seals in. I'm also gonna lap the valves quick, just to make sure we have a nice, good surface that the valve's sealing with the seat. Okay, so anyway, I picked up this tool here. I've also made a little template here just so you know which ones go where. Got the exhaust side here, intake side here, and then you just put your valves in where they go. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Anyway, you want to make sure you got the right size adapter here to fit on the upper retainer, so you can press that down and then you can get your keepers out, and you want to put this right in the center of your valve so you're not pushing on the edge of the valve and have a chance of bending it. That thing fell out. Alright. Anyway, we should put this on here. Make sure you're centered right in the middle. Pretty damn close. Put this in here. Make sure you put enough oil on the shaft too, so this thing spins in nice and easy. Yep. Press it in a few turns. You don't need to go crazy. Get a little magnet. Get in here. Pop your keepers out. Here we go. We got two. Okay. And then we just unscrew. Keep everything nice and straight. Lower this down. Take our spring, our upper retainer. Okay, and then we're going to take something we're going to pop off. I'm using one of these little tools. It's really for door clips, but it works pretty good to kind of get underneath there and pop that off. Take the valve out first. Take that out. Get it out of the way. So we can pop this off. That's our old valve seal right there. Make sure you get the bottom spring. You don't forget it in case it falls off or something. Don't leave it on there, or it doesn't fall into the head somewhere. And then you got your upper spring, okay, on your valve seals. I don't know if you can see that. That's pretty much it to get them all out. I'm going to lap the valves fast. Make sure they have good contact, nice and clean. Put the new valve seals in, and we'll put it back together, and I'll do a video putting them back together. Alright guys, we're going to lap some valves in today. I got the head all taken apart. Like I said, this head had only, I had low hours. I think it was like 100 hours, maybe 50 hours was low. Anyway, so we're going to lap the valves in just to make sure we have good contact and they're nice and clean. And just put new valve seals in it and we'll get it back together. So here's a lapping compound. I'm just using some of this stuff. There's all different types you can buy. This is Permatex valve grinding compound. Okay, so we're going to put, a little coat on the face of the valve. We're going to put a little bit of oil on the shaft. And then you got your little valve lapping tools. Find the right size that fits right in the center of the valve. And we're just going to lap them in so we have a good contact. The surface here and the surface on there are nice, and that you're going to see a nice gray line all the way around, nice and even. so it shows good contact all the way around, and you know, it's pretty much what you're looking for. And then we'll clean the whole head down, wash it out, we'll wash the valves off clean, and then we'll put some oil on the shafts again. We'll put it back together with new valve seals, and the head will be ready to go. So basically, set this camera up. Try not to get this stuff all over your hands. Put a little oil on the shaft. I have them marked, so that's going to go in there. You're going to hear it kind of like a real rough grind at first, and then it's going to smooth it out and get quieter. See how it gets quieter? You lift it, it's going to suck a little bit of that valve grinding compound back in there. I turn it about a quarter turn. You lift it, go about a quarter turn. Lift it, quarter turn. And I like to do that to kind of, you know, clean the valve all the way around. You hear at first how it's kind of rough. And then it's quieter. You know. Now these shouldn't need too much. Let's see what we got. Clean off the stuff. Pop it off. So you can see, you know, where, see if I can get the light. See if this helps. There we go. So you can see where our contact is. We have a nice gray line all the way around. It's pretty good. I'm gonna do a little bit more, and then we're gonna be good. Yeah. Camera's not focusing too great. There we go. There we go. How about that? It's better. Alright, so we got our lower valve spring seat. Get your valve seals on. I kind of start them on one side and I kind of push them towards the other side and rotate it to get that lower spring opened up. Put some oil on there, make sure you got oil on it too, and then roll it around in a circle. Rotate it to kind of seat it on there. Make sure you're seated on good. Push it. Okay, so that's good. Take your valve. Put some oil on there. Get it in your guide. Hold the valve seal a little bit, pop it through. You don't have to, I just do it. You know, look for your little like witness mark here, where the rocker arm was running. So it's kind of going across. So that's what I'm doing on all of them. I'm just kind of putting the line back where it was. So it rides pretty much the same spot. in case you take these apart and you don't remember which way these went, the valve springs always, they go with the tighter coils at the bottom and the wider coils on top. Just in case you put them on the bench and or they fall over, they get knocked over, you don't remember which way they go. That's pretty much the way they go. This is one of those little eBay tools I bought just to see how it worked. I didn't have this style. I have like more of the automotive style that you put right over it and you compress them. Like if you're doing it like on the car, you put air in the cylinder and compress the spring. It would work on this even if you're, even doing this in the bench, it would work, but these valves are too small for the other tool I have. So it seemed to be working okay. I mean, it is what it is. I forgot how much it was. It was pretty cheap. But I don't know if it was like 20 bucks or something. But anyway, all you're really doing is just using it to compress this spring down. Get it compressed far enough to get your keepers on. Make sure you're in the center of your valve. Okay. So now we want to get this set. And bring her up slow. Keep it nice and centered because if it moves one way or the other, it pops one of those keepers out. Keeping it centered locks them in evenly. That's it. So having a tiny little bit of grease on those keepers helped hold them on there for me, which made a huge difference putting these together. Alright guys, we're going to do the piston rings, put the piston pin in. You can see how it's marked. It says in, it's obviously intake. This will be your exhaust side. Make sure you put, good amount of oil on here. I'm using a 2050 synthetic oil just to put something thick on here that's going to stay, keep it lubricated. We're going to bring it over. Connecting rod. We'll line her up. Bring it all the way in until it stops against your circlip. Anyway, just your circlip gap you don't want lined up with the little slot to be able to remove it. That's all. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the front exhaust side. Number 5 is your exhaust side of your piston. So you're going to have your number 2 compression ring on the intake side, which is your second compression ring down. Your oil expander gap is going to be on your intake side. And then you're going to have your number 1 compression ring, which is the top ring. You can see here number 1, number 2. That's going to be in the exhaust side. And then the gaps on your thin oil ring end gap, you're going to have one here about 1 o'clock and one here around 11 o'clock. Okay, so that's how you want to separate your piston rings when you install these. Here's the piston. This is my number 2 compression ring, and it was really, really hard to see the letter on there, but there's an RN on that ring. Right there. It's right there. A little RN on there. You want that letters facing up. That's your number 2 compression ring. Then it's hard to see it, but we have our oil expander ring. The gap is right below that, which is going to be right there, and you want to make sure it doesn't overlap. You're not going to be able to see it unless I get like a little pick, and it's actually right there. If I get a little pick and I pull them apart, but that's the gap right there. And they're right against each other. They're not overlapped. And then on the other side, you got one small oil ring gap, and then another small oil ring gap here. So you just want to offset them right here and right here. Then the next, we're going to put our last ring on, which is our top ring, which is a chrome looking ring. The second ring is black, but this has a tiny little R on it right there. And we're going to put that on the top. And this ring, there's a little R facing up. This ring, just like in the manual, tells you right there. R is top. Let me see if I can get the focus. R is top, number 1. RN is number 2, second ring down. And then there again, your orientations. Okay, so we're going to get the second ring on. We're going to compress the rings with the ring compressing tool and slide the cylinder on. Okay, we're going to get our rings compressed. Everything's in the right orientation. Bring this over our piston. Over this. You want to make it too tight because you won't be able to slide your piston through. It's pretty snug, but you want to be able to move it too. Alright. So, got a lot of oil on the cylinder. Now, you want this to be able to slide in right. Slide in easily. So we're going to take this, put it right over it. We're going to take our piston. Keep it tight together. I think we're gonna ring them. Take a look. Yeah, we're past the rings now, so now we can remove this. Take this off. Get rid of that. Slide it right up. Bring this right in. Pretty good. There you go. Take a little rubber mallet. I'll tap it down with a rubber mallet. Make sure we're just seated pretty good until we get the rest of it together. And torque it down. That's it. So, piston's in. Okay, just gotta get our cam chain out of there. You have to hook that and pull that up. Got a little zip tie on there just to get it easier. go. Make sure we get it on the sprocket. You don't want to forget that. Alright, well, piston's in. We just got to get our head on, the head gasket, head on, torque everything down. Got the head on. I still got to put my head bolts in. I got to torque it down. But one thing is, you got to make sure you put this guide in, the front guide first. Put the front guide in, put your head gasket on. You know, and then the second guide for the timing chain could go in after. So I just wanted to let you guys know. That's pretty much how it goes. Keep something here to hold your chain from getting caught. So I'm just going to hook this on here, hold it out of the way. So I just got some zip ties here to hold this chain out of the way. But you got to make sure you put that front guide in first, put your head on, and then the second guide will go in with, this is your bolt that holds it in place for the rear timing chain guide. So I get the bolts on here, and I'll torque the head down, and then that will be done. So we're going to torque the cylinder head down, the crisscross pattern, 28 foot-pounds. Then we're going to torque head to cylinder, bolts. I think those are 20 foot-pounds. And then cylinder to crankcase, those are 8 foot-pounds. So you go in a crisscross pattern, tighten these down. Check them again. Okay, those are good. Alright guys, I threw the cylinder on, heads on, rocker covers on. I did this part kind of quickly, but it's simple. Make sure you loosen up your rockers before you tighten this down so you don't push your valves down. So put a little bit of 3-bond or whatever you're going to use for sealing the rocker box cover on. I use a little bit of ultra gray. Stuff works pretty good, so that's what I went with. That's pretty much it. I'm going to throw my primary cover on, belt cover on, whatever, and then get this thing back in the machine and get it running, and then we'll do a video of it running. Okay?